Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go through the Umpire process of this last factorial digit problem. So let me try to understand the problem. So the problem is pretty simple. It says find the last digit of the factorial given a non-negative number. So it's pretty clear that my input would be a non-negative number, which is n, and then we're given the output of the last digit of the factorial of n. So let me give an example. For example, I'm going to input, for example, input is 5. So my output will be 0. The reason of this is 5 factorial is equal to 120. So the last digit is 0. So I think I pretty understand the problem. And let me do the match process. So for this problem, I feel like it's something similar to the trialing 0 problem. That problem is like also giving you a non-integer, non-negative input, and you're going to count the trailing 0 of the factorial. So I think that's pretty similar to that because it's also deal with the factorial, but in this case, we only deal with the last digit. The second thing is that it seems that maybe I need a for loop, maybe or maybe not. If I really need to calculate the number, I may need a for loop or if else statement. So let me try to observe the pattern to see what will happen here. So for example, let me go through it. Non-negative numbers. So I can start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the factorial, this is n, and this is the n factorial. This would be 1, this would be 1. Oh. The factorial of 2 would be 2. The factorial of 3 would be 6. Factorial of 4 would be 24. Factorial of 5 would be 120. The factorial of 6 would be 720. So it seems like there's a pattern because as n is greater or equal than 5, there's not going to be a change on the last digit because the last digit is already 0. 0 times whatever is 0. So it seems like that there's a pattern there. So the last digit will not change as n goes up. So in this case, I may go to plant. Got a plant, and first of all, I'm going to take the input as integer. And for the next step, I'm going to make a if else statement. to validate the input. So it seems like it's a non-negative number, and if, for example, if n is greater or equal than 5, it will output 0. If not, I may need to calculate the output. Calculate, or just calculate the factorial and use modulus to get the last digit. But in this case, I guess there's no need factorial function, because I feel like I can just make a list. And I just simply look up the list. So look up the number on the list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first take an input, n equals to, let me do this. So n equals to int input. So I take in an input. And then I'm going to do the if else statement. So actually, if n is greater or equal than 5, I'm going to print 0. Else, I'm going to look up the list and then print the result and print the result. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a list which is going to contain the result here, 1, 1, 2, 6, 4, the last digit, 1, 1, 2, 6, 4. So after I create this list, I can print out the according items of the list. So I'm going to print out list n. So if n is 0, I'm going to print out 1. If n is 4, I'm going to print out 4 because 4 is the index of this last digit. So I think that's pretty much it. So let me do a review. So I can take my code. I'm going to take my code to Python tutor to see what happened. So this is my code. I'm going to take into Python tutor to see what happened. So it's like, so let's see. If I input a 8, so this is my list. And if n is greater than 5, it will print 0. So it should print 0 here. Oh, that's great. It seems like it's working. So let me give another example. For example, I've given 3. So 3, you should print out 0, 1, 2, 3, print out 6 because the factorial of 3 is 6. So let's see. So it will jump right to the else statement and then print the according value, which is 6. So it works. So let me do the evaluation. So for this code, I actually got a space complexity of of O of 1. Why do I say that? I create a list. It doesn't matter what is your input. I'm going to take the same space, which is O of 1. And then the time complexity of this code is also O of 1 because there's no for loop here. It's just simple if-else statement. So there's O of 1 time complexity. And I think this code is pretty much there's no many places I can improve. So I think that's it.